When we speak about habits that every woman must master, the very first one has to do with health and wellness. Because if you think about it deeply, nothing else in life, whether it is your career, your relationships, or even your spiritual pursuits, can be sustained without the foundation of a healthy body and a sound mind. Health is not simply the absence of illness, it is the ongoing care of the vessel through which we experience life. It is the recognition that this body and mind have been entrusted to us, and it is our responsibility to protect and nurture them. What happens when we neglect this responsibility? Slowly, and often without noticing, our energy declines. Our clarity of thought becomes clouded. The smallest challenges begin to overwhelm us. A woman may have the greatest ambition, the most powerful intentions, but if her body is fatigued, if her mind is restless, that ambition cannot find its wings. So we must make health and wellness the first non-negotiable habit. Now, I want you to notice something important. Many people think health is about grand changes, running marathons, following complex diets, or transforming their lives overnight. But in reality, it is the quiet, consistent, daily actions that build the strongest foundation. Ask yourself, am I drinking enough water today? Am I moving my body even if just for a walk in the morning sun? Am I sleeping enough to allow my mind to reset? These are not extraordinary practices, yet they determine the quality of our entire existence. Psychologists remind us that the human mind is deeply connected to the body. A restless body creates a restless mind. A body weighed down by poor choices, excessive sugar, lack of movement, erratic sleep cannot give the mind clarity. And when the mind lacks clarity, our decisions suffer. We become reactive rather than intentional. We lose sight of the bigger picture. That is why wellness is not vanity, it is wisdom. To care for your health is not selfish, it is strategic. There is also a deeper philosophical dimension here. Every breath we take is a reminder that life is fragile and temporary. When we cultivate habits of health, we are honoring the gift of life itself. It is an act of gratitude. Every time you choose water over something harmful, every time you choose rest instead of endless scrolling, every time you step outside for fresh air, instead of confining yourself indoors, you are saying, I value this life that has been given to me. That is not small, that is profound. Some might argue, I don't have the time, but let me challenge that idea. You don't need hours in the gym or elaborate routines. You need moments of awareness. Stretch for 5 minutes when you wake up. Take a mindful breath before you speak. Prepare a plate with color, greens, fruits, grains that nourish instead of deplete. Health is built on simple acts repeated daily until they become part of who you are. And let us not forget mental wellness. In our times, many women carry the weight of multiple roles: professionals, mothers, daughters, friends, caregivers. This constant balancing act can lead to stress and exhaustion if mental health is ignored. Make reflection a habit. Journaling, prayer, meditation, or simply moments of silence, they allow the mind to release, to breathe, to recenter. Protecting your peace is not a luxury, it is survival. A woman at peace within herself radiates strength into every environment she enters. I want to leave you with an image. Imagine you are entrusted with a priceless manuscript, the only one of its kind in the world. You would never toss it around carelessly, would you? You would handle it gently, protect it from damage, keep it safe, because you understand its worth. Now realize your body, your mind, your health, they are far more priceless than that manuscript, and you have only one. If you lose it, there is no replacement. So let today be the moment you commit, sincerely and consistently, to your wellness. Not because society demands it, not because appearances require it, but because life itself deserves it. Value the body you inhabit, honor the mind that guides you, and you will find every other area of your life rising to a higher standard. Take care of yourself, not someday, not when it is convenient, but today and every single day. Because when health becomes your habit, everything else becomes possible. If health and wellness form the foundation of your daily life, then your morning routine is the doorway through which you enter each new day. The way you begin your morning is more powerful than many people realize. It sets the rhythm for everything that follows. If the first moments of your day are rushed, distracted, and careless, it is likely the rest of your day will carry that same energy. But if the morning begins with clarity, intention, and peace, you will find yourself equipped to meet challenges with strength and to embrace opportunities with focus. Think about this. Every single day is like a new canvas, blank and waiting to be filled. The morning is when you pick up the brush, If you begin with chaos, checking endless notifications, rushing to prepare, skipping breakfast, you are splashing random colors on that canvas without thought. But if you begin with calm, with prayer or reflection, with gratitude and purpose, then your strokes are steady, deliberate, beautiful, and the picture of your day reflects that. Psychologists often point out that the human mind is most receptive in the early hours. The brain, after rest, is like fertile soil waiting for seeds. What you plant in the morning grows throughout the day. If you plant thoughts of stress, comparison, and self-doubt, those will expand. If you plant gratitude, positivity, and clarity, those too will expand. This is why we must guard our mornings carefully. A strong morning routine does not mean a rigid, complicated set of rituals. It means designing the first hour of your day with awareness. For some, it may begin with prayer or meditation, grounding the mind and soul in remembrance of something greater than themselves. For others, it may include journaling, simply writing down intentions, reflections, or even a list of what they are grateful for. These small acts rewire the brain to notice the good, to approach the day with hope rather than fear. Movement is also powerful in the morning. A walk, stretching, or light exercise reminds your body that it is alive, capable, and ready to carry you through the day. The rhythm of your footsteps or your breathing in those first moments can clear away heaviness and prepare you mentally for what lies ahead. Even the simple act of stepping outside, feeling the morning air, and noticing the rising sun, it connects you with nature's rhythm, reminding you that every day is a new beginning. But let me share something deeper. A morning routine is not only about what you do, but also about what you avoid. The temptation today is to reach for the phone as soon as we open our eyes. Emails, messages, news, and endless streams of information crash into our minds before we have even greeted the day. That noise steals the silence that the morning offers. Protect that silence. Give yourself even 10 minutes before you expose your mind to the world's demands. In those 10 minutes, breathe, reflect, pray, or simply sit in gratitude. You will find that the day feels lighter because you have claimed ownership over how it began. Philosophically, the morning is symbolic. It is a reminder that no matter what yesterday held, mistakes, regrets, or disappointments, today is fresh. The dawn itself is a lesson. Light always returns after darkness. By honoring the morning, you are acknowledging this divine cycle of renewal. You are saying to yourself, I will not be trapped by yesterday, I will step forward with intention today. Some may ask, but what if I am not a morning person? The truth is, it is less about being naturally inclined and more about recognizing the opportunity the morning holds. You do not need to rise at extraordinary hours or imitate someone else's routine. You need only to craft a beginning that aligns with your values. Even a simple ritual, like making your bed, drinking water mindfully, or spending 2 minutes in stillness, can shift your entire mindset. So why does this matter so much for women in particular? Because many women carry responsibilities that require them to be grounded before the world demands their energy. Children, households, careers, relationships, all of these pull at you. If you do not center yourself in the morning, you will be pulled in every direction, drained before midday. But if you begin your day from a place of clarity and strength, you are not merely reacting to life, you are leading it. I want you to think of tomorrow morning as an invitation. Not just another day, but an opening, a chance to begin differently. Wake with awareness, even if only for a few moments. Protect those moments fiercely. Fill them with something meaningful, something that elevates you. And then step into your day, carrying that energy forward. Because how you begin is how you continue. And if you master your mornings, you will master your days. And when you master your days, you will master your life. If health gives you strength and your morning routine sets your direction, then personal growth ensures that you keep moving forward in life instead of standing still. Too often, we assume growth happens automatically with age or experience. But the truth is, growth requires intention. A person can live 40 years and still repeat the same year 40 times, never truly advancing, never expanding their mind or their character. Personal growth is the conscious decision to become more tomorrow than you were yesterday. Let us reflect for a moment. What does it mean to grow? It is not only about academic achievements or professional milestones. Growth is about expansion of your thinking, your awareness, your skills, and your capacity to deal with life's challenges. A woman who invests in her growth becomes adaptable. She is not easily shaken by circumstances because she has developed inner strength. She does not wait for the world to change in her favor. She equips herself to thrive regardless of the environment. One of the most powerful tools for growth is learning. Every single day offers us something new to learn if we remain curious. It could be as simple as reading a few pages of a meaningful book, listening to a podcast that challenges your perspective, or observing the behavior of others and reflecting on what it teaches you about human nature. Knowledge does not only come from classrooms or certificates, it comes from being awake to life itself. And when knowledge is applied, it becomes wisdom. But growth is not just about the mind, it is also about the heart. Personal growth requires you to look inward and confront the habits, fears, and insecurities that hold you back. This is often the most difficult form of growth because it demands honesty with yourself. It may mean acknowledging that you procrastinate out of fear of failure, or that you struggle with comparing yourself to others. It may mean realizing that your temper or impatience damages your relationships. Growth begins when you stop blaming others and take responsibility for what needs to be refined within yourself. There is also a spiritual dimension to growth. You cannot expand fully if you ignore the soul. Whatever your belief system may be, dedicating time each day to spiritual nourishment through prayer, reflection, or gratitude anchors you. It reminds you that growth is not about becoming someone else, but about becoming the best version of who you already are. The soul is the compass. It ensures that growth does not lead you in the wrong direction. Without it, you may grow in knowledge but shrink in humility, grow in wealth but starve in compassion. Psychologists often speak about the concept of the growth mindset. This is the belief that your abilities are not fixed but can be developed through effort and learning. Imagine the difference between someone who believes, "I am just not good at this," and someone who says, "I am not good at this yet." That single word "yet" is the doorway to growth. It acknowledges that the journey is ongoing. Every mistake is a lesson, every setback a stepping stone. A woman who adopts this mindset becomes unstoppable, because failure no longer defines her, it refines her. Now, let us not confuse growth with busyness. Many people fill their days with endless activity, believing they are advancing, when in reality they are only spinning in circles. True growth requires stillness at times, reflection, asking yourself, am I moving in the right direction? Am I developing skills and qualities that will truly serve me and those around me? Without reflection, you may climb the ladder of success only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. Investing in personal growth also means surrounding yourself with the right influences. The people you interact with daily shape your thoughts, whether you realize it or not. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, small-mindedness, or gossip, your growth will be stunted. But if you place yourself among those who inspire, challenge, and uplift, your growth accelerates. Choose carefully who you allow into your mental and emotional space. And remember, growth requires patience. Just as a seed does not become a tree overnight, you cannot expect instant transformation. Daily effort, even in small measures, compounds into remarkable change over time. 5 minutes of reading, one new idea, one honest reflection, one courageous step outside your comfort zone. These are the bricks that build the structure of a greater self. So ask yourself sincerely, am I investing in my growth, or am I merely coasting through life? Because stagnation is not neutral, it is decline. The world is moving, life is moving, and if you stand still, you are already falling behind. Decide today to invest in your growth. Not someday, not when it is convenient, but today. Expand your mind, refine your character, nurture your soul. For the woman who chooses to grow daily is the woman who cannot be confined by yesterday. She is the woman who rises, who leads, who inspires. Because the greatest investment you will ever make is not in possessions, not in status, but in yourself. And the return on that investment will transform not just your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. When we speak of daily habits that every woman must master, one of the most overlooked yet most powerful is financial awareness. For some reason, discussions about money are often wrapped in discomfort, sometimes even in guilt. Yet, if we are honest, money touches nearly every area of our lives. It affects the choices we make, the opportunities we accept, and the level of independence we can maintain. To ignore financial awareness is to ignore a key pillar of empowerment. Financial awareness does not mean becoming obsessed with wealth or driven purely by materialism. It means being conscious, deliberate, and wise with the resources entrusted to you. Money is not merely paper or numbers in a bank account, it is a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends on how it is used. A sharp knife in careless hands can cause harm, but in skilled hands it can prepare nourishment. In the same way, money in untrained hands can bring stress and ruin, but in wise hands it can bring stability and freedom. Every woman, regardless of her background or circumstances, benefits from cultivating financial habits. Start with awareness. Do you know how much you spend in a day? Do you know where your money goes each week? Too often we spend unconsciously small amounts here and there, purchases made without thought, until suddenly the end of the month arrives and we wonder where everything went. Financial awareness begins by shining a light on these patterns. Simply tracking your expenses daily, even for a few minutes, can transform your relationship with money. You begin to see clearly what adds value to your life and what silently drains it. But awareness alone is not enough. It must be paired with discipline. Saving, even in small amounts, creates a safety net that reduces anxiety and gives you confidence. Many people believe saving is something to be done when there is extra. But let me tell you, there is rarely extra. Saving must come first. Even if it is just a tiny portion set aside daily. That habit, repeated consistently, builds resilience. It teaches you that your future matters just as much as your present. There is also a psychological aspect to financial awareness. When you take control of your money, you take control of your life. You begin to make decisions from a place of strength instead of desperation. Think of the woman who stays in a toxic environment because she feels financially trapped compared to the woman who has cultivated independence through mindful savings and wise planning. The difference is not merely in the money itself, but in the confidence and dignity that financial awareness brings. Philosophically, money tests us. It reveals our values. What we choose to spend on reflects what we truly prioritize. If every penny goes into appearances while nothing is invested in growth or security, it speaks volumes about where our focus lies. To master financial awareness is to align your spending with your deeper principles. It is to say, my resources will serve not just my momentary desires but my long-term vision. And remember, generosity is also part of financial wisdom. When you give from a place of awareness, not recklessness, your giving carries weight and meaning. You are not depleting yourself. You are sharing from a position of strength, and what you give circulates, returning to you in ways you cannot always measure with numbers, but you cannot give sustainably if you yourself are constantly in crisis. Stability first, generosity next, that is balance. Some may wonder, but I do not earn much. How can I practice financial awareness? Let me assure you, it is not about the size of your income, it is about the discipline of your habits. A person earning modestly but managing wisely may live with peace, while someone with a high income but careless habits may live in constant debt and anxiety. Financial awareness is not measured by wealth, but by wisdom. This is why, as women, mastering this habit is vital. Because financial independence is not just about money, it is about choice. The choice to walk away from what no longer serves you. The choice to invest in yourself. The choice to create opportunities for your children, your family, your community. Without financial awareness, those choices shrink. With it, they expand. So I ask you to reflect, are you in control of your money, or is your money in control of you? Every purchase, every saving decision, every investment is a statement about how you value your life and your future. Begin small, begin today, but begin. Because financial awareness is not about greed, it is about freedom. And when a woman is financially free, she becomes unstoppable, not because of the money itself, but because of the dignity, the security, and the choices that freedom provides. If health gives you strength, if mornings set your tone, if growth keeps you expanding, and if financial awareness anchors your independence, then relationships are the threads that weave all of this together into a meaningful life. Because no matter how capable, intelligent, or independent a woman becomes, she is not designed to live in isolation. Human beings are social creatures, built to connect, to support, and to be supported. When we neglect our relationships, we may achieve much on the surface, but deep inside there remains an emptiness that no amount of success or possessions can fill. Think about it. What gives most people their deepest joys? It is rarely material. It is the warmth of genuine connection, the laughter shared with friends, the quiet support of family, the reassurance of a mentor, the loyalty of a companion. These relationships form the safety net that catches us when life inevitably shakes us. Without them, a person may appear strong but feels fragile within. But here is the challenge. Relationships require effort. They do not maintain themselves. Just as the body weakens without exercise, relationships weaken without attention. A daily habit every woman must master is the conscious nurturing of her support network. This doesn't mean endless phone calls or constant gatherings. It means small intentional acts of connection. A message to check in, a moment of undistracted listening, a word of encouragement. These little gestures water the bonds we share, and over time they grow into unshakable support systems. Now, let us look deeper. Psychologically, relationships shape our inner world. Studies consistently show that people with strong, supportive relationships are healthier, less stressed, and more resilient. Why? Because when you know you are not alone, challenges lose their weight. The burden is shared. On the other hand, loneliness, true loneliness, where one feels unseen and unsupported, has been shown to harm both physical and mental health, as much as smoking or poor diet. That is the power of connection. It sustains life itself. But nurturing relationships is not just about seeking support, it is also about offering it. A woman who uplifts others finds herself uplifted in return. When you listen without judgment, when you give advice with sincerity, when you celebrate others' successes without envy, you create an environment of trust, and trust is the currency of deep connection. A woman who builds others does not diminish herself, she multiplies her own strength through them. Philosophically, relationships remind us of humility. They show us that no matter how far we climb, we remain human beings in need of others, and they remind us that we are part of something larger than ourselves. When you nurture your family, you are strengthening generations. When you mentor someone, you are shaping a future you may never see. When you support a friend, you are creating ripples of kindness that extend far beyond that moment. Yet, we must also acknowledge the reality. Not every relationship is nourishing. Some connections drain rather than uplift. Some environments suffocate rather than support. Nurturing relationships does not mean clinging to every bond, even those that are toxic or harmful. It means choosing wisely. It means knowing when to invest and when to step back. Protect your energy, because the quality of your relationships directly influences the quality of your life. One genuine supportive connection is worth more than 100 shallow ones. Another key habit is presence. Too often we are physically present but mentally absent, scrolling, distracted, half listening. But true nurturing comes when you give your full attention. Even a few minutes of undivided presence can make someone feel valued. And the irony is, when you give presence, you also receive it. You feel more grounded, more connected to the moment, more alive. So I ask you, when was the last time you sat with someone you love and truly listened without the rush of time or the distraction of screens? When was the last time you reached out, not because you needed something, but simply to remind someone that they matter? These are the habits that build the invisible fortress of support around you, the fortress that holds you steady when life's storms arrive. Because at the end of the day, your wealth, your success, your achievements, all will feel hollow if you have no one to share them with. And when difficulties strike, it will not be your possessions that comfort you, but the people who stand beside you. So begin today. Strengthen your ties with those who matter. Offer kindness without condition. Protect yourself from relationships that diminish you and invest deeply in those that sustain you. Because when a woman nurtures her relationships with sincerity, she not only builds a support system for herself, she becomes a source of support for countless others. And that is the kind of strength the world needs most. If relationships are the bonds that sustain us, then self-care and self-compassion are the roots that keep us grounded. Many women especially struggle with this idea. They pour themselves endlessly into their families, their work, their communities, until they are running on empty. They give, and they give, and they give, but forget that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Self-care is not selfish, it is survival, it is wisdom, and it is a daily habit every woman must cultivate if she wishes to thrive rather than merely endure. Let us look deeper. Self-care is not only about spas, vacations, or indulgence, as popular culture sometimes suggests. True self-care is the discipline of protecting your physical, mental, and emotional energy. It is recognizing when you are depleted and choosing to replenish before exhaustion turns into resentment or worse, into illness. A woman who practices self-care is not weak, she is strategic. She knows that to continue giving to others, she must first preserve herself. Psychologically, self-care creates balance. Imagine a scale constantly tipped toward responsibilities, duties, and obligations. Without moments of restoration, that scale eventually breaks. Daily self-care, even in the smallest ways, restores equilibrium. It might be setting aside 10 minutes to breathe deeply, to read something nourishing, to walk in nature, or simply to sit in silence. These acts may appear insignificant, but they are powerful signals to your own mind. I matter, my well-being matters. But self-care alone is incomplete without self-compassion. And here is where many women falter. We can be compassionate toward everyone else, forgiving others' mistakes, offering comfort to their struggles. But when it comes to ourselves, we become the harshest critics. The mind repeats words we would never say to someone we love. You are not enough. You should have done better. You are failing. These inner voices, if left unchecked, erode confidence and dim the spirit. Self-compassion is the antidote. It means speaking to yourself with the same kindness you would extend to a dear friend. It means understanding that mistakes do not define you, they refine you. It means realizing that exhaustion is not weakness but a signal to rest. Self-compassion is not lowering standards. It is acknowledging humanity. It says, I am worthy of care even as I strive to improve. Philosophically, self-care and self-compassion remind us that we are custodians of a gift, our life. And every gift requires care. Neglecting yourself is not humility, it is neglect of responsibility. Taking care of your mind and body is an act of gratitude for being alive. When you nurture yourself, you are not only serving your own well-being, you are honoring the one who gave you the capacity to live, to feel, to serve. Now some might say, but I don't have the time. Let us challenge that. Time for self-care is not found, it is made. You make time for what you value. And if you cannot give yourself even a few moments each day, what are you telling yourself about your worth? Self-care does not require hours, it requires intention. A 5-minute pause between tasks to realign your thoughts. A short reflection before bed to release the day. A choice to say no when your plate is already full. These are acts of self-respect. Another important dimension is boundaries. Practicing self-care means having the courage to say, this is where I stopped. This is what I cannot take on right now. Many women struggle with this, fearing they will disappoint others. But let me remind you, constantly saying yes while secretly drowning serves no one. Boundaries are not rejection, they are clarity. They allow you to give more authentically to what truly matters. When you practice self-care and self-compassion, something remarkable happens. You begin to radiate calm. Your presence becomes lighter. Your energy steadier. Your interactions more genuine. People around you feel it. Your children, your colleagues, your loved ones. You inspire not by pushing yourself to exhaustion, but by modeling balance and respect for oneself. So ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened to your own needs? When did you last treat yourself with the same kindness you so freely give to others? The answer to these questions reveals much about the state of your well-being. Do not wait until your body forces you to rest through illness or until your spirit collapses under pressure. Begin today. Protect your energy, nurture your soul, be kind to yourself, because only when you are whole can you give wholly to others. And remember this, self-care is not indulgence, it is responsibility. Self-compassion is not weakness, it is wisdom. Together they form the habit that allows every other habit to endure. So take care of yourself, not as an afterthought, but as a daily priority. Because when a woman learns to honor herself with care and compassion, she does not become less for others, she becomes more.